very much, and I'm honored to be part of your family, John. It's good to see you also. And Commissioner Carrion, thank you so much for all you do for the children in this state as well as their families, because children always are connected to family. And I'm really proud to be part of your family, and I'm proud to see that in terms of your legislative package, the first recommendation is to raise the age, and this has made my morning page, and thank you very much for all you're doing to see that children are treated in the way that they should be, that we value our children as they should be valued in a democracy that recognizes that our children have great potential, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their financial status. That each child is a dream not only for the child, but for that family that child comes from. So I am so happy to try and do what I can to make that dream come true for all of you, to be your voice when necessary. And there's my young friend there that asks me so many intelligent and incisive questions. I hope you have a few for me later in the evening. So, it's 2 a.m. and you haven't heard a word from your 16-year-old son. You call his cell phone for the 20th time, and it goes to voicemail. You go to his room, and you look on the walls, and you see posters of movie stars, and you look at his desk, and you see CDs of artists that you don't recognize. You look at his bed, and of course, he's not there, but the clothes that you asked him to put away yesterday are still there. And you're looking for clues as to where your son is in the middle of the night. And after a sleepless night, you awaken to a call that tells you that your son is in court. And you hurry down to the courtroom, and you're greeted by a lawyer who's been assigned to represent your son. And he tells you that because your son is 16, he's no longer to be treated as a juvenile, that he's going to be treated as an adult. And you, as a parent, have little to say about what happens to him because he is being prosecuted as an adult. We've heard many stories, many frustrating stories from families around this state who have experienced a similar situation where they didn't know where their children were in the middle of the night or for many hours during the course of the day. And so we're here today to emphasize why it's so important, what it means to you to have children judged as children, and to recognize that the age of criminal responsibility in New York is as low as 16 and it goes down to 13 in certain instances, and that puts us in a very small, very tiny group of states that do that. We're only one of 2 states in the entire nation that sets the age of criminal responsibility as low as 16. And so this fact alone is an astonishing fact to many parents who, in the middle of the night, don't know what's happened to their child and don't know why the police have not notified them, because when a child turns 16, the police are not under any obligation to notify you of their arrest, nor are they under any obligation to notify you of your child's rights, because he's viewed as an adult and not as a child under your custody. And we want to change that. We want to recognize children for who they are. You know, the governor last year passed 2 bills that reflected the developmental differences of children. One of them required the family's consent to body piercing for any child under 18 years of age, and the other required parental consent for children who wanted to tan themselves through some artificial tanning device. Well, you know, if we can look at children as children and ask their families to be involved in a decision to body pierce, and if we, as a state, can look at children and say and ask for the permission of family so that they can tan themselves, why can't we do so for something that's quite more impactful in terms of their future and is in many instances life altering, the idea of prosecuting children as adults. So I'm hoping, Gladys, I'm hoping that in this legislative session, the governor and the legislature, and I'm so glad that Senator Carlucci was here, because he said that he wanted to change this prescribers, what was the term he used? Prescribers prevail. Families prevail. And that's what we want to see next year in this legislature. We want to see families prevail in terms of the recognition of their children for who they are, so that we don't devalue them in a state that prides itself on being a progressive leader in the way in which we judge and treat children.